Here is Ballycotton Bay, and Bally is a 16 1.5 hand 4-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Quality Road. And this kid had 10 career starts, which is not a lot of career starts for a late in their 4-year-old year horse. And he last raced on October 30th, so he's been post track for just about exactly a month. And so he is learning to jump. He's just ready to start figuring out all of the footwork that comes along with popping over some logs and pipes and coops and barrels and all that kind of stuff. I like doing this stuff out in the field because the turning is less of an issue. Obviously, you have a lot more space. You can go straight for a lot longer periods of time. And I just find that taking some of the steering out of it really helps. And just the atmosphere of being in a field, it creates that sort of forward, positive thinking momentum that you want always really when you're jumping, especially when you're introducing horses to jumps. You want to feel like you're teaching them to come with confidence, to come forward, and all of that good stuff. And to get their feet moving quickly. And yeah, it just works for us. Although I was thinking when I was out here today with Bally that we're probably numbered in how much time we have left riding in the field before it gets too wet for the year. So anyway, I'm glad we still have it for a while we do. So two things I wanted to remember to say about Bally. The first is that when he did his first ride, he was very talkative. He was just very moany and groany, and it was pretty comical. But that has completely subsided. He might give you one moan or comical groan in your whole ride now. So if you are a person who liked this horse, but you didn't want a horse who's very vocal, well, he really is not anymore. He's just a normal horse, and he's a little bit of a goofball every once in a while. If he makes a big effort, he'll give you a little moan or something, and it's really funny, but it's very minimal, so it's not a thing. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about with him is just the bidding. You know, when he's jumping, of course he's a little bit stronger, and we're out in a field, so to be expected. So the duo is not quite enough for when he's jumping. I've got him in a loose ring snaffle here, and I'm not really happy with it. You know, he's opening his mouth a lot, and he just doesn't look 100% comfortable to me with the loose ring snaffle. So I need to figure out a better bit, or maybe he needs to go in a figure eight. I was thinking maybe a figure eight and trying the baby Fulmer next time out, because I'm really happy with how well Sumo's liking that bit. So anyway, the bidding and all, it's still a work in progress for him. But that aside, he's obviously being a really good boy. We've graduated from just popping over the tiny little logs to actually jumping all the things. And this log here that we're coming to, this is bigger, and it's quite skinny actually. And so he was very good to stay straight and just pop over that the first time. And I'm also really encouraging, part of the good thing about being in the field is that it's really easy to encourage keeping coming in the canter. Sometimes in the ring, because it's such a small space, it's hard to keep that canter coming through the corner, out of the corner, when they're not quite sure. So if they're a little bit backed off and you're in a smaller space, it's just harder to keep that forward momentum. So the field really makes that easy. That was so cute. He really nailed that. So he's really figuring out how to keep coming in the canter. There's a couple distances you'll see where the add up was the appropriate distance, and he's really trying so hard to figure out how to do that. And it's still a little bit awkward, but he's absolutely trying his heart out to figure out, how to compress and get right to the base and sort of pat the ground. And so I couldn't be happier. Like right there, obviously that was a little bit of a tighter distance. There was nothing wrong with it, but he's just not quite sure yet as how would he be, right? This is the first time we're working on it, how to sort of sit down behind and compress himself in that last stride or two, but he is trying so darn hard. And then that was just such a damn good jump to those barrels. That was awesome. I was so proud of him for that. That felt like his best jump of the day to me. So he's obviously, he's doing awesome. He's really a competent jumper. He's not a spooky type. He's really happy to sort of give whatever you put in front of him a go. He has quite a balanced canter. So that was another example of needing to find the ad. And again, he's trying really hard, and it's slightly less awkward to that log than the last time, or the last jump that he did that. And really, there's no way except through. He just has to keep doing it until he figures it out. And that actually was much better. That was really good. That again was a little bit of a closer distance, and he jumped that with quite a bit more style. All you can really ask at this stage when they're this green is that they just keep showing up. So it's only impossible when the horse starts quitting on you, when they just decide that they don't want to give it a go anymore. And he is absolutely not that kind of horse. He just kept coming time and time again. We had an awkward jump. I could keep coming to it until he figured it out. He was super honest. There I put in the circle because felt like I lost his right shoulder as we came around the corner. And that was another example of him figuring out the add up. And I was really pleased with him because he really just tried so damn hard to put it in and to get his knees up and to jump correctly. So here he is on cross ties. He's a really good boy on the ground. Very sweet. Very, very easygoing to handle on the ground. Loves himself some treats. Very snuggly. Yeah, so he's being a really good boy. He's coming along just like you would hope that they would be coming along.